Welcome back to the Future DVD commentary. This is episode 2. We're all basically the same crew. I'm Mike.
JD.
Dennis.
Andy.
Eric.
Pete.
Randy.
And Pete directed this episode.
It's true.
Yay.
So talk about this choice. What is it? How did you make this choice?
I think the biggest problem with episode 2 was hitting the bar that was set with episode 1.
That's true.
We had I think we chose pace and just kind of, trying to give people a more action-packed experience.
Yeah,
now that we've established the world.
2 is a little bit more nonstop suspense. 2 in some ways, I don't know, every episode was difficult to design for one reason or another. 2 in some ways was the biggest design challenge, I think, partly because what 1 ended up being what rated a bunch of what we originally had planned for 2. So we basically took what we had planned for 1 and 2 and ultimately put it all into 1. And when we started designing episode 2, we kind of had no idea of what.
Yeah, we knew. We suddenly realized we had a title. We knew we were going to put Kid Tannen in jail by the end of this episode, and at the end everything would go horribly wrong. But it was sort of like, okay, and now what?
And ultimately we realized that Tannen was a big enough villain that we could build an entire episode around just the problem of dealing with him and the threat he represents to Marty's future.
I'll be fine until you get back. You got it, Doc.
This is one of the. We were real happy when we realized, hey, we could just send Marty back to the first episode to solve his problem here. Because we had a few, one of the many Back to the Future little touchstones we wanted to get was Marty being in a scene with himself, as in the second movie. And since this is the second episode, it seemed like a good place for it. So we really wanted to get him in a place where he would have to hide from himself. And we were happy we were actually able to pull it off.
Oh, come on, Yesterday, Marty. Stop talking and get moving.
Calling himself Yesterday, Marty. I'm sorry.
I always prefer day old Marty.
You get a good discount that way.
Yeah. And there's the dog.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to play fetch with Einstein?
Except for Mike.
It's because Einstein growls at Mike.
Yeah. But yes, this is exactly the kind of thing we figured would happen in the movie, having one Marty on one side of a tree and a Marty on another side of a tree.
But this took a lot of finesse to get this believable.
Get this mangy animal away from me!
Come on, Einstein. Get away from the nice lady.
My shoes!
Einstein, no. Now to get into that courthouse and grab Artie before Tannen's guys.
He usually fades out at dramatically convenient times.
Yeah. All of
Oh,
that.
we missed a step here. Oh well.
What happened then?
You gotta come with me.
We did a dramatic cut.
Yes.
No time to explain, Gran.
This commentary has been edited
Promise
for
me
time.
Artie McFly.
But we have not really talked about Artie McFly and our voice actor Michael Summers, who also I have no idea what he looks like, but he does a marvelous job with the character.
Yeah. Curiously, Artie ended up more like George than George did, and that was that was by design. We figure grown-up, mellow George doesn't quite have as many of the tics that teenage George did, and whereas young Artie is definitely...
Artie's pretty neurotic.
Artie's pretty neurotic.
Oh, I've been better.
And he has good reason to be neurotic.
Yes, because he's working for Kid. He's a bit of a jerk.
We got business to discuss.
Get our first glimpse of Trixie Trotter, who turned out to be much more important later.
You too, Miss Trotter.
Yeah, we're all happy as clams.
Thanks for being coy about Trixie, even though we're in the commentary and presumably
Yes.
everyone's played the story by now.
Yeah, well, maybe
Just
they
in case.
haven't.
Don't
Maybe they're
foreshadow
playing
Marty's big
episode
love
one
scene with Trixie Trotter.
How many people get chloroformed in this series?
Oh, we're just all over the place. We're knocking people out right and left.
Hopefully not the player.
We got Kid's goons. We should talk a few minutes about Kids Goons.
Maybe and see.
Yeah, very B and C.
Yeah.
We were
Nice.
kind of modeling them after the three goons that Biff always has hanging out, or Griff has hanging out with them. They kind of all drifted away from their original actor types.
And Billy Zane was not available, unfortunately, to voice any of them.
And we had one guy named Zane, and he's the guy who doesn't look anything like Billy Zane.
Except that he's the best looking of the three.
Someone else is about to get chloroform.
Yeah.
Let this be you may think chloroforming people is fun, kids, but it's just not a
He's been dipping into the inventory.
Now, there was initially a much more involved puzzle that involved communicating with Artie, while Artie was half in and half out of his chloroform-induced stupor. But another one of those things that got streamlined out.
Yeah. Briefly, the goons were going to be very much like the Three Stooges, and then we decided not to do that either. We decided to make them a little more formidable.
But not too formidable. Yes.
There's the ever-present picture.
Yes, Marty conveniently has all kinds of pictures in his wallet that only come out when they're narratively relevant.
Spinning. Come on, Artie. Let's get out of here before these
Our favorite thing to do.
They were gonna kill me.
Chloroform and ropes.
Ropes, yeah.
The theme of this game.
So how Marty drags Artie 2 miles to the DeLorean is one of those questions that's never answered.
I still maintain he dragged him outside on the car.
That was one of our favorite bits, is actually getting to show the climax of the first episode happening again. And poor Danny. Danny's already got one. For the second time, the DeLorean is giving him the slip, and now for the third time, the DeLorean is giving him the slip.
Now he's going to sink into hopeless alcoholism.
It's not like based on anyone you guys knew in high school or something.
No.
Son of a...
I don't know why we actually bothered cutting off the Son of Us, since we were kind of hitting that PG rating all the time.
One of the discussions we had at least 80 times was what are we going to do with Artie now that he's in the car with us? And we kept coming
them together on that
to
another.
Because
I don't even remember what.
The biggest issue was we briefly were talking about actually dragging him to 1986 temporarily and unconscious, and we had huge temporal discussions about how if Artie's in the future,
he becomes
there
a
can't be.
breakdancer.
If Artie goes with Marty into the future, there can't be a Marty anymore, because Marty disappeared from the timeline.
Oh, we can't start debating this stuff now.
That's why I'm really happy
Suffice to say,
making a time travel game.
yeah, time travel hurts.
That's my brain.
Yeah. So we just drop him off at the side of the road.
Much respect for Bob Gale and Zemeckis both being able to stand doing this for multiple years with time travel and plots.
And every time we had a time travel conundrum question and we brought it up with Bob Gale, he would dive in with gusto.
Yes.
And
and tell us why we were wrong. and we'd get it fixed. Yay, flames.
And here we are back in.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing, everyone.
Good night. Certainly, this is the shortest series we've ever
Except
done.
that the nuclear war has left the sky permanently mustard colored.
Oh my God, Dad.
Yeah, I remember we only. I think we chose to only show one arm there, but I think his actual pose, like George, was wrecked.
Yeah.
His other arm is a robot arm.
Now, what was up with that? We modeled the whole character and made a wheelchair, and we hardly ever see him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So were the Biff brothers Bob's idea?
There was originally it was just Biff who was going to come and light out after Marty, and yes, Bob Gale said, "Well, if
we should have 3 of them."
No,
here's
he didn't say 3. He said 12.
Well, yes. And then we told him we couldn't put 12 people in our engine.
But I'm really happy with this whole sequence, and I think it was.
It opened up an opportunity for our amazing concept artist Ryan Jones to draw 3 versions of Biff as gangsters in the 80s. He really went for it.
Yeah.
Then we really felt we needed a solid breather in 1986 to show the consequences of how they'd screwed things up again.
It kind of motivates the rest of the entire game, because you know what could happen.
And he's got the Joe Piscopo gun. It shoots through schools.
Nice. Yeah, we might as well call out Ryan Jones for all of his amazing work.
everything.
At the beginning of the series, it was kind of what direction is the art style going to go? And I just remember him doing some early sketch, and everyone kind of saw it and were like, that's pretty much perfect.
Yeah, there was very little discussion after he started sketching.
This kind of goes with the other running theme of Back to the Future. No real good comes from traveling back in time. You are just constantly messing things up.
I wonder how many different newspaper textures we made. Or drew.
Yep.
Where does this picture?
All right, okay, now we're going to get to see the suit.
The suit.
Yeah.
And the stash. Marty McFly.
Why we didn't just leave him like this for the rest of the season, I don't know.
I think when
his nondescript features.
When I first saw the concepts, I didn't know the story yet. I just remember seeing it on Ryan's computer or something like that. It was just Marty with mustache. I was like, what?
What I like is how Edna immediately recognized him anyway.
No, she didn't.
Oh, didn't she?
She didn't. It took.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. This is. We actually.
Wow.
We actually forced the player to listen to the whole song.
Yeah.
And Randy.
Yep.
Mr. Brown.
If you haven't listened to the whole song, ask Edna to play the song for you.
Who said you were worthy?
The old gray mare?
Oh yeah. Silly little puzzle.
Yeah.
I like word puzzles. We don't do enough word puzzles because we have to translate them into other languages. This was a key thing. We knew going into this episode, this would be the musical episode. And even though I didn't actually get to be lead design on this one, amusingly enough, everyone always says I'm going to be the guy to do a musical.
Yeah.
I think you all know what I'm talking about. Am I right? So let's Tricks Trotter.
Talk about the music.
Well, the music is okay. The original song's by Ron Lytle, although this is not one of the original songs. This is an actual public domain song.
Out of my way, kid. I got some sorrows to drown.
Oh, poor Danny.
But we knew from an early point we wanted to have a saloon singer, so we needed songs.
So bad. He just takes some.
Hey, Toots, any chance you could sing that can number? The guys really love the way it shows off your assets.
And he's a pig.
And Tannen is a pig.
It was a different time, that kind of thing was all right back then. All right, what are we going to hear now?
Melancholy Baby.
All right, also an existing song.
But yes, we knew we wanted to have musical puzzle to manipulate Danny Parker's moods, and
Rebecca Schweitzer turned out to be a very. No, this isn't Rebecca Schweitzer. This is Melissa Hutchinson. Sorry, Melissa Hutchinson turned out to be a very fine singer who has used to do musicals. I guess she hasn't in some time, but she was able to pull it out.
And happens to be the voice of Stinky from the Sam and Max series.
That's right. Very different voice.
Yeah. Some of you astute listeners.
Why we never got Stinky to sing is if I had only known.
Psychiatrist, because they thought I was seeing things. And worst of all,
And Danny Parker telling his tale of woe to Marty.
And he was really drunk when he recorded that.
Mark Barber.
Mark Barber.
Telltale lawyer.
Yeah.
Drunken lawyer.
Yeah.
Spill it.
Yeah, no, his stuff is really good.
Yeah, he was good in that role.
I'm thinking he might be with the Valenti gang.
Is that so?
I've got a little something here that
The
might...
Valenti gang. A very strange inside joke about Jack Valenti, the head of the...
It's not a real gun. It's not a real gun, I swear. See?
To your family from mine, in gratitude for your continued service, J.J. Valenti.
Strictly looks a
Like
little
little Harry
bored.
Kelly with the Sacramento boys. You got stones, Pee-wee. I like that.
So there was a Sacramento mob. I have heard confirmation. So this is not completely made up. There was a Roseville mob too.
Oh yeah, that does remind me. This is an original song.
I can turn my...
No.
No, you should care.
Oh well, it's original lyrics
Yeah,
to
yeah.
an old song.
Yeah.
Very 1905, I believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. We changed the lyrics to "I Don't Care." Yeah.
I'm a good man.
Our original plan was actually to have a torch song version of Power
in
of
Time.
Well, of Power of Love, and then when we realized we didn't have the rights to Power of Love, it turned into a torch song version of Back in Time, and then it turned out we didn't have the recording rights to
In
that.
fact, I believe that was even recorded.
Yeah.
And we struggled for months trying to clean up that whole mess.
Yeah. There were little bits of that remained in the game.
Curious cow flop.
Ah, yes, we reprised the serious shite line with serious cow flop.
Because of the sensibilities of today's gamer.
Yes. Yeah. We figured that's what young Emmett would say.
Nothing.
One of the running bits that probably no one ever noticed was that the clock over the course of the episodes changes time.
I'll go
It
see
does,
if I can
yes.
find someone to help. Or
Very
someone.
slowly.
Scientist man's dog on courthouse roof.
What?
Look over there.
Oh, for goodness sake. Mr. Brown.
Please, Miss Strickland, not now. Can't you see I've got a rather delicate situation?
We needed to, through the course of this episode, get the whole Jack Diane thing going with the two of them, get them bickering, so we could set up the horrible danger. This was a great
Get that moment when he suddenly finds himself attracted to her, which is coming.
Branded dog on another.
I'm working on getting him down. Heine, how'd you get down? Clever dog.
Well, fortune favors you tonight, but I warn
Someone
you
needs to make an Emmett plushie.
Yeah.
That rocket car back down.
A little nod to the George Melias trip to the moon
Yeah.
for savvy players.
Ernest.
A little Roger L. Jackson there.
Roger L.
'Cause you gotta have
Jackson.
a little Roger L. Jackson.
You always
in
have to
every
have,
game.
right? Yeah.
Sorry, pal. I don't have time for a fight.
This was actually also a little bit. There was a little more to this character at one point too, but he knocked himself out pretty early. Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth in the alley, and that was not a good thing.
You, what do you know about this?
And more Roger L. Jackson.
Yeah.
We got to really like Cue Ball mostly because of Roger L. Jackson.
Yeah. Well, you always have to like the doofiest of the three.
Yeah.
What just happened in that alley? Something just happened in that alley. Is that blood? Is that blood on her? No.
No.
Draw a picture of this guy.
Ah, yes, the caricature
I know.
artist
Yeah.
saves
I
the
see
day.
it, Dennis.
Noticed that before.
Thank you guys for memorializing me by killing me.
That's right. Yeah, we got Jared up there. We got
Nice
Dennis.
job.
And apparently
Sorry about this, Dad.
Donald O'Connor.
Don't know how to tell you this, but I think you should check out the Wall of Fame.
Why? What is it? Artie! I don't believe it! We had a deal. Artie was supposed to be safe.
I don't know
Something
what to
between
say.
her and Artie.
Well, I do.
What is
Felony
it?
tax evasion. Before he died, Audie
We
was
need a version where you can play through the game with your narration on it.
Yeah.
And I made a big...
That could be our hit system.
Yeah.
This establishment ain't entirely on the up and up.
She's a lot smarter than she looks.
Yeah.
Out of the speakeasy.
Speakeasy?
He's not smarter than he looks.
Officer, this is an ice cream parlor.
Nice try, you. Out!
Eunice. We needed more of Eunice in the game.
Yeah, much to say.
All right.
Callahan.
The big standoff.
Oh, Callahan.
This was probably the part of the game that was redesigned more than any other.
In
right?
any episode, I think.
What's that?
And in any episode, I think in any part of this season, I think this is the part that got redesigned the most.
There was a sequence that involved going across all the roofs of a town and winding up on the courthouse roof, and as a sort of a very kind of elaborate chase scene that involved going in and out of windows and jumping on mattresses to get on other roofs, and but this was much more in keeping with the sort of gangster movie that this is, that the kind of Warner Brothers 30s gangster movie.
It's over until Kid Tannen says it's over.
Wait.
He's not a very good shot.
That ain't real fun.
Oh, right. I forgot. I better just get rid of it then.
Oh, crap.
And if he had just left Edna there and not rescued her, it would have saved us
so much trouble. It's not like she was going to have a really meaningful life.
Wow.
That's stupid. Actually, by this episode, I think I had actually gotten to like Edna quite a bit.
She's actually kind of likable. She's got a lot of spunk in this episode.
Yeah, but we always knew where she was going.
Right.
Getaway car and a clear road to Nevada, or the brown kid gets it.
Doc. Doc?
Yes, it's me.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
Real Doc.
Yeah, by the way,
You
Doc
heard this
is in
episode?
this episode.
After we nearly killed Christopher Lloyd in the first episode with way too many lines of dialogue, we gave him a little rest on this episode.
Yeah, he spent most of it at a cheap hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember with episode
Doc,
1, it
not
was,
Christopher Lloyd.
it was too hard to resist all the long techno babble Doc lines.
Yeah, in this episode we at least chopped them all up into shorter lines. So.
All right, second appearance of Manure.
Yay!
Survey says still funny.
It's the same truck. Didn't it get hit by something in the last episode?
It crashed into a...
He probably has a fleet.
A fleet of similarity.
You can never have enough manure trucks.
That's what I always say.
Haven't you heard? The feds are practically drooling over Trixie's books.
Trixie?
Her books? You said, books.
Not a euphemism.
Not a euphemism.
Artie?
And Marty isn't worried.
We have one animator who does all the making out.
There's something.
Jeff Sarr.
Sam actually got to have Sticky make out with a cockroach.
Yep.
No.
And as long as your father's still born in 7 years, I say, let your grandfather sow his oats.
So,
Remember the dog this time.
Yeah, so happy ending. This time is for real.
This time for sure.
Happy ending.
Emmett, Ned, they're gonna go see.
See, everything's fine.
Everything's fine. I gotta go see Frankenstein.
That's odd.
I said everything's fine, Doc.
And because Edna's not into geeky movies and wants to go see a chick flick, history changes for the worse.
The moral is, don't let the woman pick the movie.
Yeah. And we did spend a long time trying to figure out how that sequence would all play out. I'm very happy with This is why you don't let Marty fly the car, by the way. This is the first time he ever flew the DeLorean. Yeah.
Well, he couldn't see through the windshield. It was all iced up.
Yeah.
Doc?
Oh no, what happens
my
next?
Creepy.
Very creepy. This is what happens when you marry the wrong person. You become a fascist.
Lessons from Mike Stemmle.
Yeah. All right. Join us again for episode 3 of Back to the Future, where we see the horrible 1986 under Citizen Brown.